Hey everyone, just wanted to pop in and give you a quick introduction before we dive into today's episode. This will be the first episode of our side series called Bermuda Bay, where we will be using the 5E system with a twist. Our characters will start off as commoners using a homebrewed class created by the Warlock Homebrew. The commoner class starts off at level 1/8 and progresses all the way to level 1, with fewer proficiencies and bonuses and an inherent flaw that they must overcome as they level up. It's designed to stimulate a true commoner's growth into a typical level 1 adventurer. We are excited to explore the unique aspects of the 1920s, though we will be avoiding the glaring mistreatment of certain communities during this time to ensure the safety and comfort of our players as well as the audience. We've already recorded all of the episodes for part 1, and we're releasing the first episode here for you to enjoy. The rest you can find over on Patreon in the coming weeks. The information for that will be found at the end of the episode and down in the description below. Also, before we dive in, I want to give a special shout out to the incredible Brian Behrens, who recorded the amazing intro you're about to hear. You can find him over on Twitter at It's Unbearable. You'll be able to find that information also in the description below. Without further ado, we present to you Dungeons, Drive-Ins and Dice, Bermuda Bay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of mature enough age, gather around for a tale of adventure and excitement like no other. America, mid-1920s, a time of unprecedented prosperity and jubilance in our great nation. The Roaring Twenties, as they say, have brought an economic boom that has turned cities into beacons of hope and dreams. And nowhere is this more evident than in the vibrant heart of Miami, Florida. With an influx of new residents and immigrants, the city has become a dazzling hub of nightclubs, jazz, and the glamorous culture of the early 20s. The post-war elation and lower pressure of Prohibition-era laws in full swing, along with the household introduction of the telephone and the radio, has led people more and more into a desire for enjoyment, for the experiencing of life. The streets are alive with the energy of progress and the promise of a bright future. Amidst this bustling backdrop, a new chapter in luxury and adventure is about to be written. In just a few short hours, the Bermuda Bay liner, the largest and most extravagant cruise ship to ever grace the seas, will set sail from Miami's bustling port. This majestic vessel, the pride and joy of the Bermuda Bay Cruise Company, embarks on its 21-day maiden voyage to the sunny shores of Puerto Rico, and then onwards to the mysterious allure of Bermuda before making its triumphant return home. So welcome aboard, where every wave promises new stories and every port new adventures. But before I can properly show you around, I'll need to see your tickets. Yes, please, form an orderly line. If you have VIP tickets, please make your way to the front. Tickets, please. Tickets, please. Yes, come on.
The area around the ship is in a hubbub, right? People are in the midst of preparations. I think the first to arrive on the boat is our character, Karl Knuckles. Mike, you're working the boat, correct?
That is correct.
Cool. Talk to us a little bit about Karl Knuckles.
Well, Karl is the engine mechanic. He was not originally supposed to be on this boat, but they came to him and said, look, we really need somebody who's going to assure the boat's going to run like clockwork. We need you to be on board to make sure we get to our destination and back. So he reluctantly took on this task.
On that, I will say that this is a very, very big ship. The biggest ship probably that Karl Knuckles has ever worked on. That definitely requires a team of mechanics. Did they bring you on as sort of the head of this team of mechanics?
Yeah, he's the mechanical know-how guy who was brought on to ensure that everybody else is doing what they're supposed to and they're not missing those things, and he's sort of got that mechanical mojo.
Is Karl a particularly charismatic individual?
No, he's kind of gruff. In fact, his philosophy is if he's not worn out, the job's not done. So he runs his teams pretty hard and he's pretty gruff, and he barks orders, but stuff gets done. And he's just doing it because that's how he does things. Okay. The ship has been in this bay for a little over a week now as these final preparations have been done. I'd imagine that a lot of your time has been spent on it, that you maybe have moved onto this boat at the beginning of the week, right? Mm-hmm. Give me, from Karl, during this prep time, a investigation check as you're going over your status and your stations.
Oh, excellent. That would be a 13.
This ship seems top of the line. All of the stuff is way higher tech than what you're used to, but it makes sense, right? It's the next level up. You can figure it out in this week. That's kind of what you're tasked to do. There's not like a huge layer of professionals on this stuff, you being one of them and now having to learn on the job. But what you do notice is that this stuff has been purposefully, like, it's not like top of the line straight from the factory stuff. It's some of it, a lot of it has been repurposed, but really well welded together and secured. And this whole engine room and, you know, the general gist of the boat is far more secure than you would actually be expecting for a trip like this. The hubbub around the boat, though, in this past day has increased. Crowds have begun to gather to see the spectacle of this whole thing. Along with that, I would imagine that Dibney Smoot has made his way, at least to the crowds at this moment. What is his initial approach to the situation?
Okay, if we're in the crowd, if we're approaching the ship, I think Dibney has donned his disguise. Dibney Smoot, part gumshoe, part journalist, general hopeful newsie in the search of a big scoop. He has come to this ship because he received a tip that there were mysterious goings-on with the owner-operator of the ship. Doesn't know a whole lot more than that, but he has assumed that because this is mysterious and potentially swanky, he needs a disguise, he needs a fake identity. And so, he has crafted one for himself. Ladies and gentlemen of the line, meet Vester and Gates of the Gates fortune. And he comes wearing a slightly battered suit, a monocle that does not have a piece of glass in it, and a mustache that he has fashioned for himself from a paintbrush using a pair of scissors. Yes.
The note that you received was scrawled piece of paper from a contact that the maiden voyage of the Bermuda Bay is not the first time they have attempted this voyage. That is what you've come to inspect. Like, why? Why is that important? What does that mean? Why do we know nothing about this previous voyage
How come this is the first voyage of the Bermuda Bay? Yes.
There are some people beginning...
Kermit the Frog? What, like fancy?
I think that's actually what I was going for, so, you know...
Oh, there you go.
Game sees
More like
game, thank you.
What a
Kermit
disguise if
Von
not a
Frog.
puppet. Kermit Von
Yes.
Frog. In donning a disguise of what seems to be a wealthy person, I would imagine your goal is to push people's attention away from you. Like, they look at you as a rich person, but then they're like, I shouldn't, like, spend too much time on this person, right?
I thought I was going to blend in with the crowd. Do I?
Yes, a large portion of this crowd is definitely the wealthy. There are some middle class here, but very few. Definitely the upper middle class.
Exceptional.
In this moment, as you're approaching, there are some folks beginning to load their stuff, check in their tickets with the guy at the bottom of the ramp, and load a few suitcases up. The ship is leaving in a few hours. Down at the end, near the back of the ship, there is another wider ramp in which larger crates are being loaded up by the crew, seemingly, the supplies for the voyage.
I think my first play is to roll a perception check as far as just like the security level. I just want to like brief scan like between the ticket taker and the cargo dock what looks less secure, and that is a 16.
The ticket taker, no one's really getting up his ramp without passing him. He is at the very bottom of it. So like if you come up the guest ramp, you got to check in your ticket with the ticket taker. He's doing his job pretty well. The crew in the back, a lot of them are in street clothes, like they've just come onto the job today and haven't been given a uniform. So as they carry things up and down from a really large stack of stuff, this is going to take the few hours until they depart. Some people are in uniform, but some people are just in street clothes doing this carrying. So secure-wise, that back entrance, you could don street clothes and grab a box and maybe slip your way on.
Well, since this is the 20s, street clothes are a little bit nicer than they are today. I'm gonna take off my suit coat, I'm gonna take out my monocle, but I'm gonna leave the mustache. And I'm gonna go over to where whatever the stack of cargo is that they're picking up. And I'm going to just try and insinuate myself into the situation. Just hoist up some luggage and walk aboard.
As you bend down to pick up a crate, you hear a voice shout. She says, "You there! Oi! Help me pick up this larger box." You look over to see a bulkier woman bending down to pick up one side of a pretty large box. She's like, "We don't got all day." I certainly am. We don't got all day.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I think this actually is Dibney Smoot.
No, that's Dibney's real.
Yeah, no. I was gonna try and think of a second voice, but I this is fun. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go over and hoist this thing.
I need you to give me a strength check. It's just all of these boxes are just giant crates, right? They're boxed up to easily make it on. This is heavy as you bend down to help.
Okay. Strength 13.
Okay.
All right. That's a 19.
Yeah, it's heavy, but you know how to lift. You know how to blend in. This isn't probably your first time blending in with a work crew to like get in undercover.
The key is to lift with your shins.
She adjusts, and the two of you hoist the box almost effortlessly, and she nods and she says, "Ah, what's your name? Don't think I've seen you around. New on the job?" As you two start making your way towards the ramp.
Yes, Gator's the name. Hoisting boxes is the game.
This guy's gonna have 100 pseudonyms, and he's never gonna remember them. There's always gonna be a new pseudonym every time he's introduced. I love it.
Wait, I should have did that better.
Gator, nice to meet you. I'm Marge.
The name's Gator.
Is
There's
this,
so many changes.
is this loading ramp near the ticket ramp?
It is on the other side of the ship, where
Okay,
I
never
will not like
front to
port to
back?
starboard, yeah, front to back. So like huge cruise line. It's probably about a 50-foot walk down the dock to this other ramp, and 50 feet might even be short. As Gator goes up the dock with Marge carrying large crate effortlessly, our camera pans around to the crowd. Nearing the front of the crowd, we see a young woman approach and break through the front of the crowd. Beryl, introduce us to how you approach this boat.
Yes,
Did
hello.
you say Beryl?
Yes,
Beryl.
so this name is based off of a real dead person who was born in the 20s that I...
Like Berryl?
Beryl is how
Okay.
the OG Beryl spelled it, and I was inspired by her name. My name is Beryl Van Cortlandt, and I have my one suitcase with all that Mommy and Daddy would let me take. I couldn't take everything, unfortunately. I'm here to see the world, and this was a present from my parents because I was so good and I didn't cause any trouble. They also want to throw parties all the time, and I get in the way, so I'm going on a cruise.
Dibney Smoot from Smoot Weekly. Question.
Yes?
Actually, I didn't know if you were gonna go with that bit. I hadn't thought of a question.
All right, I've got...
What part of the world are you most excited to see?
Oh, well, I actually don't know where we're going. I didn't book my ticket, so it's going to be a surprise. I'm so excited.
Who booked your ticket?
Oh, well, that would be Daddy. He takes care of everything. All right, I gotta go. Bye. Because she's really excited, so she's gonna book it past this random guy with a weird facial hair.
Just one.
The flashback
One single-
when Smoot was in the line.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. As Beryl passes Smoot, that is when Smoot notices this other line at the back of the boat. Easy tie-in. But Beryl, I imagine you head with your suitcase right to the ticketman.
Yes, I produced my ticket from my little handbag. And
Greetings, young lady.
Hello. Here is my ticket.
And he holds it up to the sun like he's checking, mostly just for show, and he brings it down, he punches a hole in it, great showmanship, and he flicks his wrist towards you.
She's very impressed. She's very impressed.
He loves that. He's like, you enjoy your cruise. If there's anything I can do to help out along the journey, please let me know.
Oh, why, thank you. You're so kind. Beryl is very sheltered. She just is super excited about everything. She's looking around. She's in awe of how big how big the ship is, how many people are already on board. She's staring at the ocean. She's seeing seagulls. She's just into everything.
And as she crests the top of the ramp and sees the deck of the Bermuda Bay for the first time, I think she is awestruck. Not necessarily in its size and grandeur, but more just the fact that it is on a boat. You've not seen this before, and that's cool. Your pool at home might actually be bigger, but this is a huge pool, and it's on a boat, and it's right in front of you, and there's a slide, and there's like a big fountain next to the... Nope, that would be wild if a ship was driving with a big fountain on it, right? It would just like spray off behind it. That'd be goofy. But there is a big pool, and you're really enjoying that. Some hot tubs, like places to lay out and sun. Very clearly like game courts. No one is quite utilizing any of this at the moment because most people are getting in and getting their rooms set up.
Is there badminton?
Of course there's of course.
Yeah.
Badminton on a cruise. Why wouldn't that be the easiest thing ever? There's a sign, there's a sign that says badminton courts on deck 2.
Beryl actually brought her own racket. It's monogrammed.
Of course it is. Is it monogrammed with your full name or with your initials?
BC.
Okay. Is Beryl's like first business heading to her room and getting set up?
Yeah, she wants to get settled so that she can go explore. She's ready to set her stuff down and get out of here.
Beryl, I would like you to roll me let's make it a charisma check. How much money Daddy spent on you?
That is a 19. Beryl was loaded, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, Beryl.
She's so loaded she doesn't even know where the money comes from. She just knows that it exists and she has it.
Beryl, not only when you get to the top of the ramp do you notice this almost obscene display of wealth on this cruise, but there is actually a short in stature woman with a tray standing next to you almost immediately when you make it to the top of the ramp, and she says, Miss Van Cortlandt, if you would follow me this way, I would lead you to your suite.
Oh, excellent, thank you.
And she turns around on a dime and in perfect step walks up the deck and towards, you can see that on either end of the deck, there's 2 living area or like what would be housing areas. The windows on the right side towards the front of the deck, far, far bigger. And that is where she is leading you. And she leads you into that area. As you enter into that sleeping area, I'd like to say that Sampson Billfold is already on the boat. As a guest. Sampson is here as a guest.
Yeah, I think Sampson has just gotten back. We take a quick moment here. Sampson has just gotten back from yelling at the people who are loading the boats with the big boxes. I believe his name was Gator. So from whenever you guys are loading up that big heavy box, Gator, you hear from I don't know, a couple levels up. Hey, you better be careful with that box. That's got all kinds of product in it. Got all kinds of free samples. That's very important for my business. Well, not my business, but John's business. He invented the polygraph. One of my most successful projects. Anyway, be careful with that. Seriously.
Don't you worry, sir. I'm a professional.
Marge says, yeah, honestly, he taught me some tricks already. First day on the job. Glad we hired him.
All right.
I'm the very best.
Well, you keep teaching your box tricks to everybody. Gotta be careful with this stuff. And then he just immediately turns left and starts heading into the boat. The nice section of the boat, of course.
The nice section of the boat, of course. Sampson
He looks
Billfold.
spiffy. He's wearing a nice black suit, bow tie, hair a little bit unkempt, beard a little strange, but it's more about making an impact. He wants to be memorable.
Sounds to me like Sampson is a salesman. What is Sampson? Oh wait, polygraph. Is he? What is Sampson?
Well, I do a lot of things. I'm an investor. I'm an ideas guy. I'm a sweet talker. I do all kinds of things. I'm sort of like the business associate of a lot of different folks, a lot of different projects, a lot of different inventors, that kind of thing.
He's a glommer. He gloms on.
I wouldn't say that.
You know you wouldn't, of course. Of course you wouldn't. Sampson, you have secured yourself a room in the nicer front housing section of this boat, but on the lower floor of it, on the deck floor, in the night, towards the back, the nicer area where there's less engagement, passers-by, whatnot, some privacy, if you will. Your room is big, it's sparse. You have gotten your suitcases and your suits into the closets that are there so that they aren't remaining wrinkled in the suit bags, even if you have a wonderful suit bag that folds them beautifully in half.
No, they're a little wrinkled.
Okay. Okay. But you're settled in. As you get settled in, what do you do first on this cruise after you have your final suit hung and you look around your room realizing you are unpacked for what will be the remainder of this cruise, basically?
Oh, well, he, of course, is going to immediately go to the finest dining establishment on the ship. He's not going to order anything initially. He's just going to have a couple of drinks, talk around, make an appearance. Make sure everybody knows that Sampson Billfold is on the ship.
The lower decks is the sort of fine dining establishment. It is the lowest. It is the lowest. It is even below the engine room. The boat has had this built onto the bottom of it. It's a giant glass encased room. They swear it's safe, which I bet in the 1920s it's not. But they swear up and down it is. And even the engineer has given it his seal of approval as he's looked it over with his investigations to make sure that the lower decks can actually serve, but where you found yourself is in a glass encased room underwater next to the deck, because you guys haven't left yet. But at the bar, some folks have begun to do just exactly what you're doing, get a drink at the bar. This place hasn't begun to fill up yet, though.
So Sampson's going to say to the bartender, "Oh, man, all this water, it really got me thinking about that time that I helped, you ever heard of water skiing?"
Sure, you just can't be skiing off the back of the cruise.
I helped old Ralphie boy. He figured that out. He and I, we spent so much time on his ship, just really making sure that we could ski off the back of it. You ever been water skiing? It's a kind of a new hip thing.
Nah, I work on boats. I don't play on boats.
Oh, you really gotta mix business with pleasure. That's really the most effective way that I've found.
Huh. Okay.
Say, how about I get you a drink?
What? No, you can't. I'm the bartender.
Oh, I don't mean now. That would be crazy. But how about you and me, Sampson Billfold, get a drink later?
Sure. Sampson, I'll be off in about 8 hours. I just started.
Yeah, I'll see you at some point. It's a long ship ride. It's a long ship.
Sure.
Your name is Jameson?
Sure is.
Cool. I'll remember that, Jonathan.
No, Jameson, he reaches out.
Sorry, I've got to go. I'm very busy.
Okay. Where do you go to?
I go and I'm going to look around the room, see if anybody's eating. Is anybody eating in this establishment?
Not to neg, but I don't think so yet, because people are still getting on the boat, right? There's a couple people that have come to get a drink at the bar like yourself, but I think that maybe not in that conversation, but through your conversations with Jameson that the kitchen is still actually closed for another few hours.
Okay.
As we're getting up and running.
All right. Well, then he's just gonna enjoy his drink and he's gonna look very. Some bar nuts? What's the word? He's gonna look very quizzically out at the water around us, which I guess is mostly just like the underside of a dock. He's gonna look very quizzically at the underside of the dock to our left.
As everyone gets settled in, the horn of the boat blares. There is someone on the docks that smashes a champagne bottle on the back of the ship as it departs off and towards Puerto Rico through the islands. As it does so, we see Sampson Billfold down in the lower decks watching underwater as some of the fish part ways around the boat, and the boat leaves the dock into the murky waves behind you. We scan up a floor. We see Karl Knuckles hard at work, commanding a team of both engineers and honestly, probably at this point, some form of I don't know if it's coal shoveling, but something to power. It feels like a big ship like this should have looked up. Boilers. Interesting. Okay, running with a team of engineers just to make sure that the boilers are staying at capacity. This takes eyes. This is dangerous stuff. And you are boisterous, you are loud, but you are direct about what needs to be done in this very loud working space. We scan up another few floors. We see Dibney Smoot taking a hard-earned break after helping Marge carry a few too many larger crates, but having safely made his way on under the radar as Gator. No one ever saw whatever your other pseudonym was get on the boat.
Something Gates of the Gate fortune.
Vester and Gates.
Vester and Gates That's who I am now. I have, yes, redonned my monocle and
But not
suit
change the
coat.
voice.
Nope, this is my
The only one I got.
I can't do any other voice.
You know, if your voice was actually like that normally, I would believe that. I would believe that that's all you've got.
That's all you got.
I will take it as a compliment. You know, for the moment, Dibney Smoot is headed for the very same hoity-toity section that the others have headed for. You know, that's actually entirely incorrect. Dibney's looking for the crew quarters. Dibney's looking for, like, crew stuff. That's what he's after.
In this moment, as we're panning up, Dibney has redonned his disguise, having been left alone after a little break by Marge. We see Dibney cracking the door into a hallway to begin his research. The camera continues panning up to our final member, Beryl, at home in this beautifully ornate room at the very top of the wealthy living in this boat. You are looking out over the deck from your position, watching folks settle in and get comfortable.
I don't even know that there's rooms in the boat. Isn't everyone's floor just on top? Like, that's all there is.
Everyone, this is the room. I didn't see other rooms as I passed.
Everything else is just like boat engine and boat things.
Boat stuff is in that room, clearly.
That's where the boat lives.
That's where the boat lives.
Wow.
I'm enjoying Beryl so far. And we watch from behind as the boat jetties off towards the islands in between. The first leg of this journey in between Miami and Puerto Rico is very smooth. You have very clear days. It reaches the point where even Karl, you're able to take a step back and say, like, this is a good day. Everything has been super smooth and I can trust my crew to do this job they've shown already clearly. So you can even, like, this is smooth seas. Everyone is pretty relaxed and having a good time on this cruise. How do we spend this first leg of this journey? What do we get up to on this boat? What are our focuses?
Well, Beryl is hitting that badminton court as soon as she can. She's changed into a very suitable, athletic 1920s dress, and she's got her racket with BC on it, and she's ready. And she's hoping that maybe there'll be some people she can play against.
Down on deck 2, there is a number of anything that would require like an indoor situation like this. I imagine there might be a fountain in this room. I'll tell you. That's what this room requires. But yeah, there is definitely a badminton court, tennis, kind of like your thrown ball sports, anything like that. They have maybe a small, like, half turf field in this boat, but you do find yourself on the badminton court. I feel like it's more of a persuasion check to draw in folks to play against you.
Sweet.
Or you can do a perception to see if you can find someone. Either way.
Let's do persuasion. That's a 12. I'm not really like persuading per se, but I'm like stretching so people can tell that, like, I know how to play. I'm not just like looking around, but I'm not being social enough to like ask if anyone wants to play with me.
Yeah, that's kind of the approach I kind of figured too, is that like you're showing that you're batting the badminton around a few times. Like there's a number of badmintons, so you can like launch a few across just to get that swing right. Your swings are going well and they're landing exactly where you want them to land, which for you is in the good spots, whatever that means. And this does draw the attention of a group of folks, all wearing like ascots or like the sweaters tied around their collarbones with like boating shoes. And they wander up and the first one says, well, we were about to play badminton, but I see there's already someone here. Fancy yourself a game?
I would love to.
Fantastic. Step back, guys. I got this. If we win, would you mind if we have the court? We'd like to keep our practice up.
That seems fair. My name's Beryl, by the way. Beryl Van Cortlandt. And I hold up my hand, and my little charm bracelet like jingles.
The Van Cortlandts. He reaches his hand out and he accepts it elegantly, as someone of high class would do.
His hand is so smooth. It's
so smooth.
It's baby smooth.
Still wet with lotion smooth. With that good lotion, you feel it and you're like, oh, that's good lotion. He says,
Beryl rubs that in her hands. That's good stuff.
That's good stuff.
That?
Chester,
Where did you get that imported from?
Chester St. Ives, my family makes it.
Oh my gosh, the St. Ives. Well, I have your bath lotion.
Everyone does.
Well, thank you. This was well, I love the game. And which one of the many St. Ives are you?
Am I?
You
Chester.
said your family?
Chester St. Ives. My father, the progenitor of the St. Ives line. You know me, of course.
Yes,
From behind Beryl. From behind Beryl, the door opens and in walks full athletic attire.
Fuck yeah.
Sampson Billfold, and he looks straight and he says, St. Ives, you son of a skid rogue.
So that's like a
I'm
tank top
here
and
for that
jeans.
money.
They let just anyone on these ships now, even fakes like you, Billfold. I would
Fakes?
say good to see you, but
I don't have as much money as you, but I've got money.
you definitely don't have as much money as me. I have an imaginary amount that could be higher than yours no matter what you say you have.
That's his friends laughing behind him.
Everyone laughing is his friends right now. He's fucking high-fiving all of them. He's like, would you like to get in on this game, Billfold? We could make this doubles.
Well, it looks like to me that this sister here needs a partner. What's your name?
Beryl Van Cortlandt. And I will let you know.
Beryl Van Cortlandt, please, absolutely. Nice to meet you. Very, very nice to meet you. Yes, absolutely. If you need a hand to trounce these layabouts, I'd be more than happy to help out.
Layabouts, I'd be
Let's
careful
dance.
there, Van Cortlandt. He's a snake.
Better a snake than a slippery eel.
I'm gonna tell them not to sell you St. Ives anymore.
Just how Daddy buying a company. I'm not worried about it.
Are you out on the roof already? Before the game has even begun?
Let's
That
go,
means he's been
Veronica.
drinking.
We have to trounce these fools. And a young, raven-haired, dark-skinned woman runs up, and also her beautiful, full athletic attire, stark white, like she's it's never been stained. You might imagine she has 15 of these back in her room, and she trances up and she says, "We're gonna slay these fools, Chester." The other two, what are you up to right now as these guys prepare for, I guess, the badminton match of the century?
I do want to be at the badminton match because I feel like that's where the action is. But I want to see if I can resolve something with checks really quick first.
Yeah, no, I love that. We can also like get everyone at the badminton match by the end of whatever you're doing. I'm just curious what we are doing, if that is,
I want to make some checks to see if I can manage to pick up something that will allow me to alter my disguise and pass as crew, whether that's like a hat. Because this is the 20s, uniforms aren't as strictly a thing. So like if I can get a hat or a badge or like a thing, whatever the thing is, I'd like to make a check to get that so that I can then continue my surreptitious activities better disguised. But then whether or not I have that, I still do want to be at the badminton match.
You can't miss it,
100%.
man.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone's got to
No,
be
I've heard
there.
it's the match of the century.
It's the match of the century.
The first match of a century aboard a boat.
Give me an
Probably.
investigation check.
Ooh, crit. At 20.
When you were leaving the break room alone, as you went to leave, you realized that there were lockers on lockers on lockers and crew uniforms. And you were able to distinguish between, like, there are certain uniforms that are more specific to, like, this person's a server. This person is, like, doing the, like, line work on the, like, cooking line. But there is, like, a couple uniforms that are more, you can tell, especially with your nat 20. Like the wide version where like these people are going to be all over the boats. One is a like the cruise worker.
Do you know who gets to go everywhere in a boat? The engineers get to go everywhere in a boat.
And the other is the engineers, the like workers that you have just helped out basically. You can find like one of those, we'll say orange jumpsuits.
And thus begins the illustrious career of Gator the engineer. Yes.
All right, you pick up one of these burnt orange jumpsuits. It's dirty, not like drawing orange, but like that kind of like scuffed up burnt orange.
A remarkable professional is not in his skill set, it is in his bearing. Yes. I
And,
carry myself like a professional, and I am a professional as whatever I do.
That voice is gonna be
I
sticky.
Here's the thing: is I keep drifting into Sparkalonius if I don't watch out.
Also, give me one more just investigation check for your time here, because your whole goal here, while you as a player want to end up at the game, we're gonna make you there because we want that. But I want to figure out while you're doing an investigation how well that's going.
A 10.
A 10. Okay. I mean, it can't be going super well if where you find yourself is the athletic courts. There's not a lot of clues here for the boat, but you gotta hit all of the spots. And so I think your thoughts are, especially in the first leg of this journey, is hit the spots that are least likely to have the most information, right? So you can really spend the time in the most likely spots, because you're digging around, you're maybe interviewing a couple of the folks. I guess you're not, because you're in disguise. How are you?
I can make casual chit chat.
Yeah, what are you doing in this room in disguise?
Chit-chatting casually.
Okay, cool. I like it.
Yes, the great sport of badminton. Named for Duke Bad of House Minton.
Minton.
Of Old York. I know them, you know.
And the server you're talking to is just saying, yeah,
This
okay.
engineer is wild.
Is there just, like, I get it, but could I get
with me?
back to work or something? Oh, wait, so wait, you just have the clothes with you. You're in your street attire?
I'm still in my disguise.
Okay.
I've got my monocle. I just also have some engineer's clothes
Sure.
with me. I don't...
Bundled up under your arm? No, with a nat 20, they were in a backpack.
With, like, any luggage.
I guess that's fair.
That guy can't be rich. Look at how he's holding his clothes.
With a nat 20...
I don't know how I would have gotten in, like, through the cargo with my own luggage.
Dang. Do you mean it's just sitting there on the...
No, because if you're
abandoned
coming on
shore?
as a worker, you would still have a bag of some kind. You wouldn't have... I don't think they would let you on with, like, vacation
I've got like a rucksack. Like
Yeah.
a bag or something.
And I'll also say that with the nat 20 in the
It is
locker you
bulging
found...
now.
Yeah, well, with the locker, if you want it,
with
in
like
the
a
locker
new
you...
set of clothes in there.
Then instead the server says, okay, do you want any of the shrimps, or can I keep passing them out? And she's holding out like a tray of, like, I don't know, blanched shrimp, like shrimp cocktail, single shrimp cocktail with a shot glass, you know?
Samson starts snapping. Garçon, the shrimps! I need to fuel up before this game.
Oh, well, it sounds like you, I better get to that. Yes.
Gladly. And she walks away from your badminton conversation and with her shrimps and gives them to Sampson Billfold.
Samson houses like
fucking
4 or
exactly
5
houses just like
immediately.
Karl, while this is an intense job site, you're shocked to find yourself with time to enjoy the ship, which you are allowed to do as sort of captain of the squad.
Well, then I would tell the crew, notify me if anything occurs, and I'm going to stretch my legs and I'm going to walk about. And I, you know, if it's convenient to the story, I could happen to walk through the athletics area if that's the convergence point we're driving towards.
Yeah, I mean, you're moving about the ship. I think as you do, it doesn't stop the fact that just because you aren't down in the engine room now, right? Like, even if Karl is giving himself a moment to be a little bit more at ease, I think that it does register with him that he is still working. He does, like, this job is wider than the engine room, and so I can get out for a stroll, but I might as well be checking out things along the way.
Oh yeah, he would always be looking at, are the bulkheads good? What about the lighting and the wiring? Anything he can
check
see,
out the
he
fountain.
would be.
Yeah. How is there a fountain?
Is it
I've never
flowing
been
at the right PSI?
Yeah, you know what? We'll even say that there's a few like notes you've received in this first few hours of things that you should be checking up on regularly, right? But you move about the ship. I'd like to give you to give me, I think it could be survival, because this is like your kind of realm of that, or investigation, if you have a
excellent
proficiency in one or the other.
I am proficient in survival.
That's the one stat.
That's it. Yeah. So that is a 13.
Okay.
Apparently that's his comfort number is 13.
13. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's a good number for Karl Knuckles. while you're checking on all your little check boxes, you've checked off a few, making sure that the cargo hold is properly secured, that any of the larger transport objects for the people that will get off in Puerto Rico or come on in Bermuda, that things are organized properly. You've moved down your list a little bit. The next piece is to go check on the fountain and make sure that that's not like taking too much power or like moving too much water away from the boilers where they should be moving in. I imagine there's an intake system under the boat that as the water is being boiled off, there's like new water being influxed. That's probably not the actual system, but I'm going to say that it's this boat's system, right?
It works.
So
for
you
Karl.
gotta make sure, right? But in this, what you do notice is down in the cargo, which is, towards the back of the boat, you're secure in the fact that this is a bay liner, not an ocean liner. This is not built like an ocean liner. While it is more secure, you get that thought while you're down here. And there is a moment in between Puerto Rico and Bermuda that you've done your research enough as like a secure, job site where things could get a little bit rocky. I think you convince yourself in this moment that that's what all this extra security is for. That's what the extra like secure bulkheads and shit are for. But in the end, this boat is not meant for deep water, that like ocean depth water. It's just meant for bay depth. And there will be a few spots in which you will be crossing over ocean depth.
I will make a note to have the crew double strap down cargo.
And then you move on and you're checking out the fountain and you hear some hubbub over by the badminton courts. You see a few wealthier to-dos shaping up for what seems like going to be a rather intense. There's a little crowd beginning to sort of gather around of this badminton court.
Well,
and
he will take a pause and stay far enough back so he doesn't have to interact with them. And he'll break out his Zippo lighter and a cigarette and light up a smoke and just lean against the wall and take a break and watch the festivities.
As you're smoking the cigarette, you hear shrimp, and you look over and you see a young waitress with the platter up and some blanched shrimp cocktail on it.
Oh, I'll take a shrimp cocktail, sir.
Yeah. Yummy. It's decent food. And on the badminton court, we have sectioned ourselves off onto two sides. Beryl and Sampson versus Veronica and Chester.
And of course, Chester, whoever wins this match, I expect at least a sawbuck from this, right? Let's make this interesting.
What's a sawbuck?
That's a $10 bill.
And I knew that. $10 bills.
We could make it a double sawbuck if you want to keep things interesting.
Who carries $10 bills on them? What are other names for money I could use to embarrass you right now?
A C is a $100 bill.
All I carry is C's on me.
You could say that we sail across the 7 seas.
Well,
what about
ABC is what I
C's
say.
on this, Cortlandt? I have $700 on me right now, easily.
Daddy says I shouldn't gamble. I'm 17. This doesn't
Veronica,
seem...
she's afraid. Don't
trust
worry.
me, sister.
We'll find
this isn't
someone
a
else
gamble.
to
This
play
is a
with.
sure thing.
I guess. Honestly, Beryl's just happy to be included. This is her, it's weird that a bunch of adults are challenging her in this way. She's never really...
I'll say Chester's like not too much older than you. He's a couple years older than you. I'll even say that like when you introduced yourself, the conversation got cut short by Sampson coming in, which I loved. I love that. But I think that you even recognize as Sampson or as Chester was about to that like when you were kids, your families may have had like wealthy parties together, right? Like you have crossed paths in your past.
Sampson's about 40.
He's a snake. Don't listen to him. You hear a little bit more intensity now from Chester. Awesome.
The athletes have made a bet. The odds are 4 to 1. 4 to 1 in favor of the pair on the left.
Ooh, okay. Are you trying to bring in like a crowd to place bets with you?
Yeah, I think that's the move here is this is a good way to get interaction and sort of get some reads on people too. Persuasion, performance, what do you...
It can be any of the persuasion or performance if either one is better for you.
And they're all charisma. Let's go performance, and that's an 11.
Okay. The crowd does start pouring in. I think the problem you face in this moment is actually that everyone is coming to bet on this match. There are so many people coming to bet with you. 4 to 1, you said? On who?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't have exact change.
You're getting shouted at. I want to see on Veronica to take the first point.
I'm writing scripts right and left.
Fuck yeah. I want a double tenfold on Beryl. Beryl's going to take the first point. And just like everyone is shouting at you.
I've torn up a sheet of like journal paper into little scripts, and I'm writing off.
Fantastic. We're going to resolve that in a little bit. And money is being thrust into your hands and
actual real deal money.
Real deal money. They think that you're they think that you're holding bets, and so people are trusting you to put out what you a 4-to-1 odds on who. Before we begin the match, who is more likely to win in your 4-to-1 odds shout?
Knowing literally only the relative ages of the participants.
We have Chester, who's a couple years older than young Beryl, and then 40-year-old Sampson. And Veronica, she's a bit in the ether right now. She could be a fucking old woman. Who knows?
We don't know. I'm assuming Veronica's a similar age to Chester, but I could be wholly off base. And like Sampson came in with such confident energy.
He did.
You sort of want to go on vibes there, but he's 40.
How does he move for a 40-year-old?
You know what? Actually, badminton is not if you know how to play. I don't know that badminton is the most physically taxing of games. 4-to-1 in favor of Sampson and Beryl.
Heck yeah.
Bet on the team. I like it.
Hey, I better be getting some of that sugar here at the end. Betting man.
I don't know you from Adam.
I don't know you from Adam.
I won't play this game unless I get a cut.
I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know how to play.
I don't want to talk to you because you might recognize me from earlier.
You better give me a cut.
I don't know how to play badminton, so I'm going to run off of whatever I think it is. There's got to be a front and a back. That's what it is in tennis.
It's a forecourt.
Yeah.
It's a forecourt and a backcourt.
That was my thought. Which one of you is forecourt and which one of you is backcourt?
I'm gonna ask right in front. Samson's he's doing like the 2 fingers to the eyes, 2 fingers to your eyes, Chester. He's like up against the net.
That's fine because Beryl has a killer cross court flick. I mean, it's pretty killer.
It's the cross court flick that inspired Chester to come over in the first place. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. You guys are doing your thing. You're doing the eye thing to Chester, but he is not giving you the time of day. He's obviously cold shouldering you. He sets up in the back as their anchor, and Veronica jumps up front. She is giving you it back. She's up in your face. And we begin badminton, I guess. Why don't we do some athletic rolls? And if anyone on the outside wants to, as a player, attempt to help the situation, if there's anything you can have your character do, like a distraction or whatnot, if that is something, we can talk about that as well. But for now, I want athletic rolls from the two of you.
So Sampson is really quick. He's gonna like do a couple of leg stretches. He's gonna walk back to Beryl really quick, and he's gonna say, "Just so you know, if this goes south, I am going to be hurting my ankle. Just to be 100% with you, just to let you know, it looks better to fail than to lose. But we're not going to lose, don't worry."
Okay.
No.
Engendering vastly different levels of confidence.
And then I'm ready with my athletic check. I've got it right here.
I've got mine as well. Oh boy.
Okay.
How does that affect
something too?
How does that affect Beryl's game?
Beryl's 19. She's feeling confident. She's decided she's played Chester. Maybe she's played Chester when they were kids, so she kind of knows.
Club.
So they were in opposing badminton clubs. So she kind of knows some of his tricks. So if she feels maybe she can help this guy, and if his knee fails, that's not really on her. It's just because he's an old man. She can just blame it on that. It's not my fault that my old man partner's knee gave out. And honestly, $700 is not that big a deal to Beryl. She has no concept of money, really. She always just has so much of it.
We're only playing for a sawbuck, just to be clear.
I disagree. We're playing for $700.
Okay.
That's what I heard before.
Whatever you say, Chester. I mean, that is how much you owe me for that business deal that you ruined. But, I can give half to this nice lady. That's okay.
I will never pay you for that. That is absolutely on your shoulders, Bill.
You're about to. Hey, listen to me. You're about to.
Cool. What's your athletics checks?
Mine is also a 19.
Oh my god.
Ooh, hell
okay.
yeah.
Time to bring out the dice. I keep a dice. I've sectioned off a dice in a little pill bottle as like an important roll dice.
These are special dice. They've got pill dust on them.
Do you have a single dice in isolation?
I do. Specialty dice, important dice, has rolled out some interesting results. I would like, let's say, Beryl. Give me a high, say high or low.
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 At some point here, I have to do something.
This game is kicking off. It's going hard. The back and forth is pretty steady. After even the first few bats back and forth, we're realizing what's happening here, that Beryl and Sampson are working well together. Sampson is clearly not as refined in his tactics, even with the 19s. He just doesn't have the same experience that Beryl has, who is, while not a paid professional, up to that level in how much she has played badminton. But this is happening. It's going back and forth. What is the worst outcome for Dibney in this moment? Like who winning would be the worst?
I need my team to win.
You need your team to win. Okay.
Right? Isn't that right?
I think so. I just wanted to double check. I think that was.
I think I need the ones.
Yes, you'll have to pay out a lot more money if the other team wins.
Yes, and then yeah. At this point, 4-to-1 odds, you will probably keep a bit of this money after paying out those who won.
I'm screwed either way. I don't have any money to give them.
No, because there are, I'll say.
Well, no, they've given me their money. I've given the losers money.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is how it works. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You just have a lot to keep up with. So after this, we're gonna have some checks to see if you can actually dole the money back out to the right people.
Here's the other thing: is that all of Sampson's behavior just before the match has tanked Dibney's confidence in the team. This
whispering to Beryl.
I made this choice, and also just getting right up on the net. Like, that doesn't seem like the right spot to be.
But as it turns out, it is.
Turns out it is, but Dibney didn't know it yet, and he made a choice.
What does Dibney want to do? You do see, I'll say, that Veronica, also up in the front of the net, is showing some wild play. Something, while Sampson is engendering false confidence in you, or bad confidence, Veronica is starting to make you also feel a little nervous. Not Chester. Chester's slipping up.
I gotta take out their hidden weapon.
Okay, I surreptitiously, this is all done. I think it's gonna be stealth checks. I'm really praying. Hi, audience. I'm rolling my stats as I go, and I've rolled 3 13s and a 12. I need a high score for my dex. So, if you're listening out there, just, cross your fingers for old Dibney here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be the rogue, I think.
Awesome.
The plan is, I imagine when I picture in my mind that the waiter with the shrimp has a mirrored tray.
Love that.
Yeah. So Dibney is going to go over surreptitiously to the waiter and say, "Excuse me, I need to perform an act of desperate debauchery," and just take, as he's saying this, just lift the tray politely out of the waiter's hand and eat all the shrimps off of it.
Oh boy. Give me a Ooh, no, you know what? Give me a charisma saving throw is what I'll call it. Not a check. You are saving yourself from utter social ruin.
What's my charisma? 12. I think given the way that Dibney has acted, we're gonna make charisma his saving throw proficiency.
Okay. Oh, this is your first saving throw. I love that.
This makes sense for his character because it seems like the only way he's acted is a way that it's going to get him into trouble.
I mean, also as a journalist, when are you using Constitution or Strength or Dexterity to get out of a situation?
Yeah, no, it's charisma
unless you're
saves.
a wartime
charisma
journalist.
Saves,
very different situation.
That's actually a really interesting point and a cool way to get characters to have intellect saves, save proficiencies, is to like start them in our world. Much more likely to have those.
Okay, you with we'll say proficiency bonus. You are good at this. Remember that when you tell me your low number. How low is it?
Are we single digits?
Is it the lowest one?
No. And maybe this represents like how many shrimp are actually on this.
Oh no.
I rolled the second lowest number.
Yeah.
So I have a total of a 3.
Okay. Yeah. Then what happens is as you go to wrestle it from her hands, as you go to grab it from her hands, you did say that, gently grab it from her hands.
Yep, just lift it out.
Her second hand reaches up to grab the tray. No, you're not going to do that. She is giving you in body language. But your second hand, you just pull. Her first hand was going in only to stop, not to actually restrain. So when you pull, the shrimp go up and all over you. You do catch one, and you in a moment of panic as you catch it and you're looking around with the thing in your hand, you eat the shrimp and you nod. And
delicious.
But you have the tray, and the waitress is aghast. And many of the other folks are aghast that they have given you cash to bet with, and they're looking at you very nervously.
Oh, no. What a crazy random happenstance.
But in this, while not your intent, the clang of the platter causes Chester to miss his first hit. He is startled, and Sampson and Beryl score their first point off of a Beryl's knockback. That is Beryl's first point. So if anyone has a bet on, let's see, Gabe, pick a number 1 through 4.
3.
Take 3d6 damage.
You take 3d6 damage. No.
I die instantly.
I die instantly.
Turns out he is allergic to shrimp.
Oh my god. Okay.
He never knew because he was too poor to eat one, but he's actually
that was
definitely
funny.
allergic
Oh
to
my god.
shellfish.
Oh fuck, roll up a new character. That joke has to nail it into stone. That's so funny. Oh my god.
If at any point I roll a critical failure, I just die.
You just die. You're allergic to that too. No, what happens, I think on that, what we see is that there is a low amount of people because of how much bravado Sampson came into this with. There was only 2 people of the crowd bet of the excess that Beryl would get the first point. This is a based on Gabe thing, not on Beryl's confidences, just to be clear. That means that you'll have to pay those 2 people 8 times whatever if they win.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You still have that money. You are confident that if Sampson and Beryl win, that is a payoutable and you'll still make money. In fact, that's the best outcome for you because that's the least amount of people you'd have to pay it 8 times.
Do I still have the tray?
Yes, you have the tray.
Yes.
But the distraction worked for this first round. I would like to see what Karl, as this is going back and forth. Beryl has just crushed this first point into the ground. Sampson, I imagine, is fucking parading around the room with his hands.
Sampson is trying to get a chest bump from Beryl. Samson's like, yeah, come on, jump up. Yeah. Yeah, come on.
Beryl just places, taps his chest with her racket because she's dignified.
Hey, you know what? We'll take it. That was a real hotsy-totsy shot. Good job.
You and these references. I imagine that Karl entirely sees through Dibney.
Yeah, Karl's not buying it. But Karl's also interested enough to see how it plays out that he's probably going to call over one of the other waiters and have that waiter help clean up the fallen shrimp as the priority because we've got a safety hazard because shrimp are slippery.
That's funny as fuck, too. Did you place a bet, Karl? I'm not asking if you have any money. No one has starting money. I don't want to put that in there.
I was too busy watching all of it, and I try not to get directly involved with these hoity-toity types.
That makes sense. Too big for your pockets.
That's correct.
You know it's good. You're the one person I don't want to owe money to.
You are ushered sort of
decision.
out of the vicinity, Dibney, just of the nearby waitress as they begin to pick up the shrimps. because Karl's made a good point that you cannot be slipping on this shrimp. They care very much about your safety and don't want you to be hurt. So they usher you slightly away from where the shrimp are. Give me a stealth check. And I only think I'm imposing this because Karl has called over another server to like help pick up the situation, to hide the tray as you dip.
Don't slip on those shrimp. I'm gonna slip away. Oh no.
He says that out loud.
You know, I do, because that's a 6.
What's your dexterity bonus? Or what's your the dexterity, like the number, ability score?
12.
No. We have to do another roll off then.
No, I haven't rolled my dexterity.
Oh, give me the dexterity. If it's a 12, we'll have to do a roll off. If it's above a 12, you win. And if it's below, you lose.
Comedy gods.
Come on, comedy gods.
Oh, comedy gods.
Our rogue's gonna have like a 7.
He actually slipped on shrimp as he said it.
Slipped on shrimp and he's allergic. Oh my god. That sucks.
Not Dibney's Day is the name of this episode.
So stupid. Oh my god.
My dex now is so far my lowest skill.
Fuck yeah. What is it?
Oh no.
It's an 11. So
well,
we're just all the same. What's
think
my roll?
I've got 2 7s.
And that's a critical failure.
you slip on a
my
shrimp.
God.
You slip on a shrimp and fall, and there's a clang because you fall on top of the tray. And the servers help you up, and while they normally would be checking if you're okay, you slip again, and they're like, you have to get out of here. They like really push you away from the shrimp and the tray, and I think with that you lose the tray. You got the distraction in that. I think even in this moment, the two of you playing the game has stopped for a moment. The second serve hasn't begun because this man is falling in shrimp and like embarrassing himself.
That man really is in the giggle water this time, huh?
Giggle water.
Yeah, I don't think they should have handed him all that jack if he's just gonna fall on the floor like this.
What an egg.
I'm so sorry. My shoes are allergic to shrimp.
My shoes.
Grace, do you have
are
the same
allergic.
PDF pulled up that I do? I've got a 1920s slang PDF.
You know it.
Hell yeah, dude. I was like, oh, hey, I've seen those as my perusal.
Dang it. I literally went to research that and then had to do some DM stuff, so I'm definitely here for it. Yeah, the game has stopped for a moment. This man is ushered away from the shrimp and the tray in this whole situation. Karl is helping set up like a perimeter to make sure the area gets clean because the shrimp has been spread and smushed into the ground. This is a nasty situation over there. Karl, what do you focus on this like shrimp situation, or do you have a different focus before?
I would be concerned on the shrimp situation because we're talking about a safety hazard on the boat. And
I love that.
We got to get that resolved. I'm keeping an eye on this gentleman, but my bigger concern right now is to make sure everything is clean and the guests are safe before I turn my attention anywhere else.
What's your wisdom score? I'm just curious.
12.
Okay, you're keeping an eye on our Dibney. Back to the game, though. After a few moments, the crowd is like getting a little antsy, and they're ready for you to continue. And the shrimp man has left that area.
The shrimp man goeth.
His disguise is gonna be gone because everyone's gonna be talking about the shrimp man for the rest
So
of the voyage.
fucking funny. Oh my god.
I gotta get away and take off my mustache.
Yeah, because it's covered in shrimp. You obviously have to take it off.
You reek of shrimp.
Chester, your shrimp man distraction will not work. I'm going to be taking 7 yards from you at the end of this game.
My shrimp man distraction. You scored the first point. Don't blame that on me. I would blame that on you. You little snake.
You can't blame that on me. I'm already blaming it on you.
We'll see. And then he serves, and I need athletics checks from both of you. I don't know how many points there are. There's like 21 points in the back. We're not going to make that many checks. Don't worry.
I got a natural 20.
Wow.
My stats might be bad, but my luck is good.
And
That makes sense for Sampson.
That's 16 for Beryl. The shrimp threw off a little bit. She's only 17. A man flying a shrimp is
She's
very funny.
only 17. How can you fall in shrimp
shrimp has
around her,
motivated me.
you absolute caveman? She is a young woman. You fell in shrimp? Like I said, that was the embarrassing check, and you did embarrass yourself.
She's baffled.
She has
She's
to know
never
about
seen
the real
something.
world one day.
You're gonna get pinched talking like that.
Let's play.
All right,
Cool.
let's put the screws on them.
Stop. All right, are you ready to deal out that dough, Gabe? Anyway, the next set, the next set of plays, as the shrimp man goes off to clean himself, Karl cleans up the shrimp mess. Beryl and Sampson continue their game. You guys are not much off put by the shrimp distraction in the beginning of this game, and you continue your drive. Though Chester, seemingly empowered or emboldened or whatever by the distraction he feels you caused, Sampson. Only you. He doesn't think that Beryl did it, and he makes that clear. It's only you he thinks did it for some reason, and it has made him play a bit better. And as we near the end of the game, you guys are only ahead by 2 points or whatever, which is close, I guess, for a badminton game. But Beryl probably doesn't feel the pressure because she's crushed ass in enough badminton games to feel safe at a 2-point lead or whatever. I don't know how this game works. So, as they are batting this back and forth, actually, I would ask either of you, what are your play styles of badminton like? I'd like some information from you. I don't just want...
I'm spiking every opportunity I get. I'm spiking it.
Veronica was
I'm
prepared
that-
for that after the first fucking
I'm that
hit.
close to the net for the reason, and I am too stubborn to go further back from the net. She may have my number, but I'm going to spike it. I rolled a
spike
natural
it.
20. She is not going to succeed.
No, that, I mean, yeah, 100%, 100%. What's Beryl's play style like?
Beryl is just like all elegant grace, and you can tell that she's just been playing for years. For someone so young, she still has that youthful vitality where she just makes it look so easy, and she just looks so serene. She doesn't look like over strenuous. She's just, that teenage glow. Just
Yeah.
really having a good time.
It's the
like
hyper,
all
the beautiful hyper technical play from the backfield versus the absolute aggro menace that is Sampson.
Spike Master. While they are aggressively, while not seemingly aggressive from Beryl, but she's in this game. And when Beryl's in this game, while she doesn't look it, she is,
Oh, Beryl's in it.
yeah. She's making tactical hits that are
Beryl's
mean
locked
in the
in.
moment.
She
Looking at,
knows
like,
onions.
making them, like, ankle
She
breakers
knows her
and dumb
onions
shit.
about badminton, right? She knows her onions.
And honestly, I'll even say the audience is really into Beryl. Like the spiking, the repeated, no other tactic spiking, everyone's like kind of funnily into. They love it. They're like getting wild, but you can see Beryl has some like fans beginning to develop. Like people are really into this play style. Shrimp Man, what do you do?
Man.
You have embarrassed yourself in front of a crowd of people that you owe now possibly a lot of money to. We'll see.
Okay.
You owe some money to.
Okay. Do they let me out of their sight? Do I just get to leave?
Give me a stealth check to just sneak your way out of the room. A lot of
Dice
people have
not
given
being
you their
kind to
money.
me.
They have not
You
been kind.
do reek of shrimp. I don't know how sneaky you're gonna be.
You know what? You're right,
Well,
Grace. With
here's the thing, though.
disadvantage.
Here's the thing. I reek of shrimp. Will anyone want to come with me?
True.
They may not,
I've
but
been
they have
changed.
given you a lot
Like,
of
they're,
money.
But they have a lot of money.
I mean, that's true,
They're not
but
whores. They're not.
That's
they
the
don't
thing.
care.
That's the thing about people with a lot of money. They're very attached to their money.
they only want to
are.
make more money. Yeah. And this is a way for them to make a little bit of money on this cruise. How cool would it be to come back and say I went on vacation and made $700?
But only once I owe them the money.
Yes. I just
You're
don't
sounding
know
like
that I
Sampson right now.
I'm trying to get out of this disadvantage.
disadvantage only because you smell like shrimp. You're covered in it, and you embarrassed yourself so much the crowd was watching. It's not
we
necessarily the
stopped
money
the
owing
game.
thing, I guess. My
All right.
point, you're right, can be mooted.
I reek of
but
shrimp.
what you did is the problem, not what I'm doing.
Okay. That's a 5.
Oh, what a bad gumshoe.
I'm not a gumshoe.
I'm half a gumshoe. A gumshoe would have gotten a 10 easily.
I'm a journalist. I don't say out loud.
Yeah, it seems like you're a
Someone-
bookie.
I'm a professional.
What I'll give you as you go to leave is a few people do kind of harass you a little bit, like, hey, where are you? You can't just leave with our money.
I'll be right back. I reek of shrimp. I can't stand the shame. The terrible, terrible shame.
You know what?
Oh no.
Give me a charisma saving throw, but with advantage, because they also wouldn't be able to take the shame.
I am willing to drop to my knees and tear my clothes for this.
No more shrimp, please.
No. The stench.
The other thing that rich people hate, secondhand shame.
Secondhand
That's
shrimp.
a natural 20.
No way. Awesome.
He's weeping. Real tears.
They cover their noses and they say, oh, you're right, you reek. And then they, please just return with our money, change yourself. And they leave you. And you're able to exit the room. I'm allergic. You're able to leave the room without anyone haranguing you. And clean yourself up. Change into your...
First things first, I immediately strip the mustache off. Mustache goes into a trash can. Now I'm a new person who still smells like shrimp.
And it's
Don't let him
gone.
have another mustache. The mustache is in the trash can. He has to get it out of the trash can if he wants to be mustache.
You get the old shrimp mustache if you want one.
I'm not thinking about that. I smell like shrimp.
And the worst offender was the mustache for sure.
I now hate the smell of shrimp.
New character flaw.
Okay. I am putting all of the money into my satchel and going off in search of an unlocked door.
Okay. I think nearby there's enough unlocked doors. Give me a luck check to decide what kind of room
actually,
this is.
the first thing I'm doing, I'm gonna change into my engineer's clothes.
Okay.
They don't come with pants.
Do you put the rest of your suit into that trash can too with the mustache?
How much shrimp is on it? Is it a lot?
How
It's-
shrimpy is it?
It smears and flecks of shrimp because you fell in it. After you take off
I
your
like-
suit coat,
I like-
there's like pieces of shrimp.
Flap it out.
Oh no!
Slap it out.
As you
Oh my
do,
God.
there's like
help?
flecks of shrimp. Yes, it helps with the look.
Flecks of shrimp.
The smell is unavoidable. The flapping it out will never help you with the smell. There is not a nat 20 in the world that can save that coat. But
This is this is a problem.
this was my father's coat.
This is my only suit. I've only got my long johns, and now this engineer's coat.
At least you have an outfit.
Okay, so can I get a perception check? I'm gonna look for a spot to hide clothes.
Okay.
They smell like shrimp, but maybe I can come back for them later because I can't bring the smell of shrimp with me.
Yeah. No. You got to be undercover.
Oh, that's a 5.
Okay.
The kitchen has the smell of shrimps, and you find your way there because it's a nearby door. There are people working in here, but you're in engineer's clothes, so no one really worries about you. And you're panicking because this has been awful, and you've not gotten a break from how terrible the social anxiety has to be. And you pull open the first drawer that you find. It has some shrimp in it, and you get excited.
I have a really bad. Ooh.
Oh, please.
Wait, drawer with shrimp.
Drawer with shrimp. I was gonna say you just stuff it into the drawer with shrimp and close it, but if you have a different
yeah, no, if
idea,
you're gonna. Well, I was gonna do a worse thing.
Please?
But, you know, if there's a drawer, nope, there's a drawer with shrimp now.
you find the drawer with shrimp and you just put your
I was gonna
suit
put it.
in
I was gonna just like. I was gonna put it in the first big pot that I saw.
Oh, God.
Foul.
But I won't. You've given me a drawer of shrimp. And
You
so
have a
now I
drawer
don't
of
have to
shrimp.
resort
Yeah,
to
yeah.
those sorts of measures.
I don't have to poison the whole ship. What you're doing.
Dibney's a menace.
And
I
now
think we have discovered.
he might be an international criminal after you poison a
this is delicious.
ship
Is
of
this
people.
Yeah, no, okay.
And while Dibney is figuring out his fucking suit in this kitchen, there's a few people moving around him. We're moving into the end phase of this badminton game. Like I said, you guys are a few points ahead, 2 points away from victory, but 2 points only ahead of your enemies. They've come back, but Beryl, you feel confident, and Sampson with your spikes, while Veronica is extremely frustrated with this tactic in the front row. She has accommodated and learned how to, like, get it back a little bit. With that nat 20, you still have some tricks and shit up your sleeve, but she recognizes your spike tactic. a little bit more. And we're going to move into this last phase if I can get some athletics checks for the last phase of this combat. I'm going to say you guys need to roll high. They got some wicked high rolls.
You are not the first woman to be absolutely frustrated with me, and you will not be the last. I got a 19.
I don't need that from you, she says as she spikes it back in your fucking face.
I spike it right back.
Yeah, you do. It's just two people overhand spiking it at each other, and somehow each time they're able to spike it
range.
back. Exactly. From below, they're spiking it down and then up. Sorry, what were your athletics checks?
19.
That is a 15.
The end of this phase is a little rough. They recover those points on you and actually get a point up on you. They are 1 point away, and you guys have not scored, still 2 points away. It is drawn to a tie as Beryl is able to save one final hit. It was actually about to go out, and because of that, they began relaxing, and Beryl made a split-second decision to dive for it anyway and knocked it just right over the net, scoring you that final point, now being tied up. Sampson has laid back a little bit on his spiking in this last little bit, but as this final bit comes in...
I haven't spiked this much in one day in a long time.
Veronica lets down her guard as you're saying that, but you come back in with a wild overhand, just pile driver downwards. That gets right past her guard, winning the two of you the game.
Turns out I had one more in me.
I'll say based on our scores, Beryl did score the most points, but Sampson scored the last point, securing the victory against Chester and Veronica as Dibney, I imagine, walks back into the room. Is this where we're at with Dibney? And Karl is has just helped finish cleaning up the shrimp.
He's in the restroom.
The crowd is, that's fine. The crowd is going absolutely buck wild. People are beginning to look around for where their money is, as I imagine Sampson and Beryl are as well. Chester says,
Sampson's walking right up to Chester.
$700, I believe that makes us even, Chester says, looking down on you.
Do we each get $700? That means I also get $7, right?
Fuck. They dole out.
No. I think it makes more sense. We don't want to rake him over the coals. You know, the voyage has just begun. There will be plenty of opportunities. Here, have 4.
Have 4 what?
Not you.
Are you giving her?
You're giving me 400 clams?
Yes, indeed.
This is a cat's pajamas.
But I'm gonna need you to come with me to hear some pitches later. I've got a few business opportunities you and your family might be interested in.
I'm not gonna do that.
Then I'll only give you 3. Here you are.
Okay.
I think that's fair, and I bid you adieu.
As you guys are exchanging that money, is Dibney come back into the room to see the end of this? No. Where does Dibney go? Oh, fuck. Where does Dibney go?
Oh, Dibney. I'm stressed for Dibney.
Dibney, you are carrying a pot of...
Yeah, how much money do I have, actually?
$3,900.
Damn, Dibney.
People have thrown down bets. With the victory, you don't know this yet, but with the victory... and the way that all the points were doled out and etc., you have to pay out 3,000 of this.
Okay, I've stored my clothes, my shirt and coat in the back of the drawer behind the shrimp. All the shrimp are pulled forward to the front of the drawer. Get that shut. Quietly leave.
On the 3rd day, someone's gonna reach in for some shrimp and pull out a suit coat, and everything's gonna be ruined.
We'll get to that when we get to that. Maybe I can come back and get it out. Do I still smell like shrimp?
Vaguely. I think I'll give you a -1 to like stealth because there's a scent on you, right? You gotta shower it off, but like vague scent. People would catch the whiff of shrimp.
With almost 4 large on me, perhaps it's time to pursue my actual goals aboard this boat.
And I put on my engineer's coat and I head to the crew's quarters. I assume there's probably a shower there.
As you leave the kitchen and
start my investigation, and now I've made almost $4,000.
As you leave the kitchen and there is money being exchanged between Sampson and Beryl, and the crowd is beginning to get agitated that the bookie has abandoned them, including the few who agreed that the bookie could abandon them. They're like looking around more intently for you. Okay. I've made some checks on if they'll still recognize your upper half of your face. It's like hiding behind glasses. But I will agree that a mustache is actually better of a disguise than glasses. By far, by far. But they've made checks to see if they would recognize you by the top half of your face. In this moment, there's like a little bit of a hubbub. There's some excitement on the ship. Some cool things have happened. But this is all droned out quickly by the sound of an alarm and a heavy bump beneath your boat. Heavy bump. This immediately, your heart sinks,
great.
Karl.
Yeah.
Karl, what is the first thing you do as the alarm begins and this bump has occurred?
I'm headed directly back to the engine room.
Karl begins dead sprinting for the engine room. What does everyone else do? I don't think there was a lot of safety precautions gone over on this boat as to what to do in case of an emergency, because they 100% sure there wouldn't be emergency.
Oh no. I've got to get to the cargo hold. That's where all my products are. I gotta go.
Beryl's gonna try and just go to her room, I guess, and just, if the game's over, so she's gonna take her racket and she's just gonna go back to her room. Because when in doubt, go back to home base is what Daddy always said. So she's going home.
I imagine that Dibney is probably somewhere along Karl's route back to the boiler.
Are you gonna like tack on and follow him as an engineer?
I think that's probably the correct choice. I think that because an alarm is going off, Dibney is probably trying to actually get out of his engineer's uniform when Karl
don't
comes
rely
around.
on me. Do not rely on me.
Oh no, I may be responsible for this. Oh, hello.
So you're just in your long johns when Karl comes across you? Is that true?
Dang.
No, I'm probably half. I've still got my pants. I didn't take my pants off because I don't have other pants.
Sure.
So I do still have slightly shrimp pants, and I'm at least half out of an engineer's coat when you come around the corner. Hello.
You're almost out of uniform. Put your coat back on. Head to the engine room. And he runs by.
Yep. Okay.
Dibney follows the herd because that's where the energy's
Dibney-
going.
Yep. Dibney follows, reluctantly buttoning his coat.
Each of you go to your respective places. Dibney and Karl running to the engine room, Sampson running to the cargo hold, and Beryl returning to her room casually because what could be happening?
Yeah, Beryl doesn't know.
Yeah, it's just a bump.
She just won her first betting match. She's on cloud 9.
That noise is loud, and you know that in your room it'll be a bit muffled.
Yeah, it's kind of hurting my head. I'm gonna go where it'll be quieter.
One in the cargo hold will say, Sampson, your things are safe. The alarm has ended by the time you've gotten there. I don't think that stops Sampson from going to check because that's still
I gotta check
nerve-wracking.
my polygraphs.
But you check and everything is safe. Karl and Dibney sprinting to the mechanic's room. There was a problem. The ship did just so vaguely hit like bottom, but nothing enough to damage the ship. It just seems that your readings of this area were wrong because we don't have like live reading equipment. We are judging based on maps and like decisions, I think, based on other people. I don't think we have like perfect depth reading equipment. So this was just a problem passing by one of the nearby islands. A small piece of coral had grown up a little bit more than we had expected, and the boat bottomed out just so slightly with a small scrape, but nothing enough to break the hull. People are still in a panic because this is a nerve-wracking situation. In this moment, as the panic is occurring, mostly around Dibney and Karl, I'd like the two of you to give me, I think Karl, it's going to be a perception check, but I think for Dibney, it's an investigation check because you guys are in a very different frame of mind.
Ooh, that's a nat 20.
Hey.
That's an 11.
Dibney, there's so much hubbub happening around you. You get kind of swept up into like actually helping with the work because you're in disguise and you gotta try to put up some disguise, and there's a lot of anxiety and what the fuck is happening and how did I get up into working in the engineer's crew? Karl,
You've had a lot of jobs today.
you overhear a bit of chatter during this time. You're able to put together a few things. I can't believe this is happening again. No one on this crew was on a different boat for this company. but some people are aware of more info that you get in that moment. You hear, I can't believe the Bermuda company would let another ship sink during the panic. I can't believe I actually got on the ship. They told me that this one would sink too. That kind of situation you hear over and over again. You know by the end of this is not the maiden voyage of the Bermuda Bay Company. This is just the maiden voyage of the Bermuda, like this specific boat. But they had led everyone to believe that this was their first company's maiden voyage with cutting edge and, you know, top of the line parts and pieces. But in this moment, you're realizing that this is not really that. This is not any different than a boat should be going as it's a bayliner.
Awesome. Okay. Well, then my goal is to get the crew back under control. So I'm going to bark orders and tell them to check the flanges and the valves and the piping. And once I've got them under control, I'm going to go check in with the captain to get an update from his perspective.
Dibney, what about yourself? You've been swept up in this work a bit. As things start to calm down, how do you?
My suspicions have been confirmed.
I assume, do I overhear this stuff as I'm just amongst the crew? Or am I too, like, in it?
Dibney, what you get is that I think what you understand is that some of these crew members are more informed about this company than others. There's some that seem to like the way that they're talking. You've overheard some of these sentences, such as like, you know, I can't believe this is happening again, or something along the lines of this being not the first voyage for the company. And that's really clicking into place with that, you know, note you received from your informant.
Well, then once it cools down, I'm going to follow the hubbub of the crew as we head back into wherever it is that we go.
The crew quarters that you've been looking for this whole time.
The crew quarters I've been looking for. I'm gonna keep my eye out for a shower. But while I'm here in the crowd, I'm just gonna talk to whoever is around and about me, and you know.
So the Bermuda Bay. What's the claptrap on that shilly shelly?
Oh, you don't know?
I'm new to these ports.
What are you, some kind of pigeon? What are you, some kind of stoolie? What are you, some kind of stool pigeon?
Stool pigeon? Nah, just rumors traveling around Miami docks of Bermuda Bay. Launching a ship from Puerto Rico to Bermuda in the first place to test them waters. Apparently that ship did not make it from Bermuda back to Miami. Rumors say there's something in the waters, although I don't know.
A lot of things in the water.
There's all sorts of things in the water. They think it's the water and not the boat.
Why would it be a boat? This boat is fantastic. Taps the hull. This thing is top of the line, they've told us.
I'm sure they said that about the last boat.
Well, fuck. Now I'm scared too. Hold on. Are you saying this ship is gonna sink? Cause I'll get off in Puerto Rico, no problem.
I think it's too late.
Oh no.
Okay, I guess that guy panics. I've got hold on. Okay,
I've got a family.
I've got to figure some.
That cannot be the best thought here, Dibney.
It's too late.
Dibney's had a rough day, man.
Dibney's struggling a bit, and that's okay. This has been tough, but you have learned a little bit about the flow. Like your informant was correct. I think socially, Dibney has been struggling on this boat. This is not an investigation as in depth as an investigation he's been on before.
I think this may or may not be like a Thursday for Dibney.
Karl, you?
Dibney fights for every clue he finds. He really does.
Claws for them desperately.
gripping and scraping for those clues. Karl, you go to the captain. The captain's quarters is of a hubbub but calming down. The captain has given some orders to resume the route. We will be reaching Puerto Rico by tomorrow morning. That was just as you enter in, you get the same idea that you have received, which is this is some coral, just a little bit of extra growth that we could not have expected because we don't have those machines, and the boat bottomed out only slightly because it more broke through the coral than anything.
All right. Well, he'll give the captain the update on the engine room and the status of the team. And it's a question of whether he would remember at that point to mention to the captain that there was a gambling issue and the bookie has now disappeared with passengers' money.
So Sampson comes through the door to the captain's chambers and says, "Captain, there's a gambling problem on the ship."
Oh no.
All right,
Captain, one of the bookies that you've hired on this ship is a crook.
hold on. Who is this man? Can someone get this? I appreciate where you're coming from, sir, but guests are not allowed in the cargo bay or in the
Guests. Captain,
whatever
I am a
this
customer.
building is.
Captain, I have products on this ship that were shifted during that silly little coral escapade.
And we will
whatever it
double check
was.
them when we reach Puerto Rico in the morning, but I want to be clear that you cannot be up here in the...
All right, Captain. All right. Okay. I don't need to be in the brig. That's fine. I'll
brig.
just stand out here outside of the. It's not the brig. The brig is jail. I'll stand outside the door here, Captain. I just want you to understand where I'm coming from and what's going on in your ship. I figured you'd want to be informed. You'd want to understand.
I'm going to
where
look
I'm
at the
at.
captain and say, do you want me to get on the blower and call the buttons to take this man out of here?
Oh, there's no need.
PDF now.
No buttons. No blowing. I'll just leave.
That's incredible.
Not trying to be a stool pigeon or anything, but just thought you might want to know what's going on your ship.
But-
Anyway, I'll be off. I'm just spitting.
I'm just spitting.
Be gone with you, flim flam.
You spit off down the hall, I guess, and the captain is left for a loop. He says, okay, apologies. As long as the engines are up and running, the rest of this journey should be fine. We're going to stop in Puerto Rico. You may allow your crew a small break. We'll be there for 2 days. They can do as they will. And then we need to dock back up as we will be leaving.
Hi, Captain. I'll let the crew know.
Okay?
And shall I leave the gambling problem to you, sir?
Yes, I'll have my goons handle it.
Oh no.
Not a good
From
sign if
outside-
if
from
captain
outside the
calls them
door.
his goons.
From outside the door, you hear Sampson. I can help the goons.
First, they're gonna deal with him.
You hear footsteps running down the hallway.
And then 2 more sets of heavy footsteps following this first footsteps. Oh
They're
my
gonna arrest me and
god.
I'm gonna meet Sampson in the brig.
Oh man. The ship, even with its troubles and the red flags, docks into Puerto Rico with no problems in its docking procedures at that point. You guys have 2 days to spend in town before the ship leaves back out for Bermuda. Your cruise nearly a third over. Simple. Just a badminton game and some fun times on a ship. Critically embarrassing
I've
ourselves.
got $400 now. It's great.
As we're here for a couple days, how did each of you spend your time in the beautiful island of Puerto Rico?
I try to get some local business owners to invest in my big ship.
Your big ship?
Yeah, this big ship that I came on. Yeah, I think you guys should invest in the big ship.
So you are a snake.
It's all legal.
Fuck.
How
Okay.
much? I can give you stake in the big ship. Whenever we come back around. Whenever we come back through, I'll give you guys your returns. Pretty fast. Ship business goes fast.
You know what? Give me the check.
16.
You actually do get some money. Some people jump on board. Big ship business? Are you kidding me?
BSB.
What you do discover in this time is that there was a cruise that left recently. The locals don't know who it was or what it did, but a few weeks ago, about a month ago, a big cruise ship did leave Puerto Rico and capsize out in the sea. It's a little edgy right now, but you do get a few investors. I'll say you get a cool $200. Big bones in investing. When you come back around, they expect a return on their investment. They don't know what that means in this moment, the people you've spoken to.
Yeah, we didn't nail down any ROI, so
Nope.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Beryl, how do you spend your couple days in Puerto Rico?
Beryl is going to be just taking in all the sights, definitely buying a few trinkets. She is partial to jewelry, and she has full access to mommy and daddy's money.
And you made $300 from a badminton game.
I did, and I took those $200 and I went and I bought myself some jewelry.
Okay, just
So
roll spend $300. I don't think any roll necessary. You get a few charms for your bracelet, and then also, why don't you describe a few pieces of jewelry that you find here on this island?
Yeah, I'm looking for a obviously silver necklace, but Puerto Rican inspired. I don't want something that I could just get at home. Obviously, I'm on vacation. So I find a lovely beaded necklace I make no attempts to haggle for prices. Whatever they say, I'm like, yep, okay. I give them their money. Beryl's having a great day. She won a badminton match.
God, I should have set myself up as a jewelry dealer. That would have been so great. Oh yeah, this is $300.
$300? Perfect. You buy a finely handcrafted. Why don't you give me a insight check to see what kind of deal you get?
It's a 19. What is there
the jeweler tries to overcharge you, but you are able to recognize the quality. We wear a lot of silver jewelry, and you pull it down to 150, half of your money, whatever you spent. Easy. Not really you pull it down, you point out a few imperfections, because you have some perfect jewelry, and you point out a few imperfections, not expecting a reduction, but receiving one nonetheless, to $150.
Beryl's just that likable. It's hard to not like Beryl.
Yeah, this was all done in kindness, too. They were like, you know what, you're totally right. Why don't I bring the price down a little bit? I'm so happy that you're enjoying yourself here and, commercializing my business. Thank you. How do the other two of you spend your days in...
Well, Karl's going to let the crew go off. While they're at the dock, he's going to inspect all the exterior of the ship he can see for damage. And then he's going to talk to all the dock workers to see if he can glean anything else about the Bermuda Bay company. And then he'll spend some time in the local tavern or pub or bar or whatever they've got and see if he can apply some more information out of anybody. He's also going to stock up on liquor for himself and to celebrate with the crew when they do a good job. So
Sure, I love that. Roll me an investigation check on your investigations.
Alrighty.
Bermuda Bay.
If they do a good job.
See, investigation is an 11.
The Bermuda Bay has launched ships from this port recently. That's about it. Nothing super special. They did some test runs towards Bermuda. You don't really hear anything about that.
All right.
No problems reported from those that you speak to. You're able to find decent deals on alcohol. Maybe one too good that you get actually distracted from continuing your investigation and enjoy a rather decent vintage of an alcohol you haven't come across in a wild market, and kind of leave your investigation to the wayside as you do get this bottle and a little bit more for your crew. Dibney.
All right.
This is the report from the Daily Dibney. I'm hidden inside a cargo crate. I didn't go to Puerto Rico. I hid in a cargo crate, and I paid a crew member $200 to bring me food.
So much money. That's so much money.
You paid him 2 yards to give you dinner.
I sure did. To bring me food for 2 days in my crate. At night, I snuck out and I tried to read the captain's logs, and I probably have to make a check to see how well I did that.
Investigation check or a stealth check, up to you.
It's gotta be investigation.
That feels better. Is that your stat of choice too? What's your stat of choice?
Do I get proficiency in a stat?
Sorry, just to a skill. Like a proficiency
skill?
in one skill you get. Sorry, that's what I meant. I apologize. That was confusing.
Probably deception.
Okay.
Like I'm trying, based on how he's behaved so far, I think that's probably the way.
I figured it was something along that line, or investigation, and that's why I was asking in this moment, just because you are an investigative journalist.
I am an investigative journalist, but it seems like the way I go about it is not
Costumes and deceiving, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the quality of my actual piece is.
I imagine that you'd be a great process server. You've been served. They would never know it's coming.
Hello, it's me, your milkman.
You appear in the trash, you wipe the shrimp from your torso, and you give them the paper.
You clean the shrimp off of yourself and you hand them their service. What's your
I know
role,
I
shrimp
climbed
man?
out of a barrel of shrimp, but here is some papers. That's an 18.
Okay. You are able, in a dark night, as the HQ is in the midst of a changeover. There's some crew members outside just like discussing the goings on of the night. Somehow you're able to slip in and give the captain's log a read over in an empty space for a moment. The captain is worried. He has info. Across these logs, you discover that the Bermuda Bay company has in fact launched their maiden voyage from Puerto Rico not but a month ago towards Bermuda Islands, just to test the path for themselves. That boat capsized in not a storm. There was no storm, there was no weather problems, but the boat capsized. And through that, the Bermuda Bay has promised the captain and paid the captain handsomely to assure that they know the correct path and that they have the correct path now and that is no problem. But the captain is actually still pretty worried about this as he is getting ready to depart Puerto Rico. You see that he's more worried about a storm. That's mostly what he's convinced himself of. You see written earlier on that there was no storm, but the captain has convinced himself that he is worried about heavy weather and the boat capsizing in heavy weather because he doesn't know what else to convince himself of. He also probably has written with that 18 check.
This is Dibney Smoot. I'm in a crate, and I'm also worried. I'm worried, and I'm in a crate, and I wish I wasn't in this crate, and I can't wait until we get back out to sea so I can leave, because the captain's worried. Now I'm also worried. I wish I had gotten off the boat.
And in already pitch blackness, we fade to black on Dibney in his crate.
Samson's log, I'm feeling great. I've made $600 so far.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, Bermuda Bay, DM'd and edited by myself, M. Williams. The players this episode are Lawrence Jennings as Sampson Billfold, Grace Stringer as Beryl von Cortlandt, Mike Harrison as Karl Knuckles, and Gabe Stringer as Dibney Smoot. This is the first episode of a bonus series we've begun recording to be released to our lovely patrons over on Patreon. We wanted to drop this first episode as a little sneak peek as to what you can expect. You'll find the rest of these episodes for part 1 of Bermuda Bay in the coming weeks over on Patreon at patreon.com/DDAD podcast. That's patreon.com/DDAD podcast. Over there, you'll also find the backlog of our episodes and all of the additional D&D 5e material we create for your home games. Make sure you leave a review for the show wherever you're listening in from. This word of mouth goes an extremely long way to helping us get new adventurers to join us in our stories. Next time, we will return to our main campaign, A Wider World, as Sparklonius, Marjorie, Thaddeus, and Haribo leave town on their next leg of the adventure. That episode will come out August 1st. We'll see you then, folks. You have a lot of paper to help out in the future if you need paper or money, cash money.
Yeah, I've got hella scratch if I need to buy my way out of a situation.
Hot scratch.
Hot scratch.
As long as no one catches the whiff of shrimp.
Hey, wait, does this C note smell
money.
like
My money might smell like shrimp.
They'll know it's you. They're gonna go around and be like, I need to smell your money. This is the shrimp man. I know it's him.